couple of weeks ago on this show, I looked at the Funko Savage World horror action figures, the 5.5 style He-Man action figures that they released, and I looked at Jason and Freddy, Pinhead, Leatherface, Michael Myers, and they were fucking awesome. My friend Wayne sent me the majority of the set over from America, and then I went and bought Pinhead, and I'm so glad that I did and I got involved. I've never been a massive fan of the Funko line. I think the way that they do business is fucking incredible. Like their rags to riches story is fucking awesome. There's a documentary on Netflix, I don't know if it's still there, but it's all about how they started and where they are now. Unbelievable. But I'm not a big fan of contemporary toys, and especially toys that look that contemporary. So as much as like the line is cool, do your thing if you're into them, they've never been my thing. And then they released these 5.5 figures, and even at first I wasn't that convinced, but Wayne sent me them, and then I bought Pinhead, and I'm so glad that I got involved. So naturally the collector in me starts looking out for the other ones, and I went into my local Forbidden Planet, and they had this guy reduced. So I got him, and now we're like, yeah man, he's fucking awesome. This is Mumra from the Thundercats, and I'm a huge Thundercats fan. We made a movie over the last 10 years it took us to make this movie. It's called Unit 11. It actually hopefully drops on Amazon real fucking soon. We finished it this year, and it was like a mad passion project. It took over my life for like a decade trying to make this movie, because it's a mad action epic adventure movie set in England with no money. We had no resources. I had to build all the props myself. Everybody that acted in it were just my friends. That's a whole other video and a whole other story, and there's lots of videos on this channel about that if you search Unit 11 Theo Kane. The guy that narrates that movie, the reason I'm bringing this up, is this guy, Lion-O, Larry Kenny. He narrates our movie, and I've always been such a massive fan of Thundercats. To get him involved in a project that we was doing was fucking awesome.
Thank you, Theo. It was fantastic. Good luck to you in the show, and I can't wait to see the movie.
I also interviewed Larry Kenny back when Slimehouse TV was just a TV show. Slimehouse TV still plays on TV here in England, but this is when it was just a TV show and wasn't online, and I interviewed Larry Kenny. He's very cool. We've kept in touch ever since that, and I love this guy's work so much. There's no intro to a cartoon series that fucking bangs like the Thundercats TV show. The way they fucking animate explosions and electric and lightning, yo, it's fucking awesome. I love that shit so much. So I've always been a massive fan of it, and obviously as a kid I had all the Thundercats figures. I've still got them now. I've pretty much got the entire line. When they released these guys, I thought they were fucking awesome, because as a kid you always wanted to see He-Man and Lion-O face off, Thundercats meeting up with He-Man characters, Motu versus Thundercats, team up with Thundercats, that kind of thing. But as a kid, the figures were so different. The He-Man figures and the LJN Thundercats figures are just like, they're worlds apart. If you dropped a He-Man figure, it bounced off the floor. If you dropped a Thundercats figure, it used to shatter. They were made from this like real brittle plastic, and the paint chips off the faces. So as much as I've got all those figures and I like them, as a kid, they wasn't as fun to play with as the He-Man characters. Then all these years later, they've released these 5.5 figures that are just in the mad He-Man muscle style action figure. So I've got today the full first wave of these figures. Apart from this guy that I already opened, I'm going to open them all and we can check them out, and I'm going to get to see them and smell that fresh plastic live on camera for you guys right now. Interesting to know, I bought these in Sheffield from HMV, and on the way to get them, I walked past Podrick from Game of Thrones. For some reason, that guy was in Sheffield, the actor that plays him, and I was in such a steaming fucking mode because I heard that they had these in HMV, and they were buy one, get one free for a tenner, and the shop was closing in like 5 minutes, so I bombed over to HMV, and I ran past Podrick, and if it was any other time, I would have stopped and chat to him, because I'm like that. I would have had to stop and talk to him and plugged our movie to him, so it's probably a good idea that I was in a rush. Anyway, first one, let's look at Top Boy Lion-O. It's rare that I open figures on this show, especially ones that I got to rip open like this, but these are new and they're cheap and I like to open them. Oh, that new toy smell reminds me of Christmas morning. It reminds me of Christmas morning so much because as a kid, the majority of my toys were from car boots, so it was only like Christmas and birthdays when I really got to smell, that new toy smell. So we've got his Sword of Omens. I've actually got a replica of Sword of Omens. I bought it from a friend on Facebook when I first got onto Facebook on the action figure trading forums and stuff. And that's actually how I met Larry Kenny. I put up a video of me unboxing the sword, and Larry Kenny saw it and reposted it on his Facebook wall, and then we just got talking from there. So the Sword of Omens is fucking awesome. Let's compare it to the old Lion-O. So this is the old Lion-O figure. Who remembers having this as a kid? with a little chop, chop, chop action. He has a little thing, I've got it in there, and you push it in his back and his eyes light up. I've never put batteries in it to test it. So the original Sword of Omens was like that, red and silver, and this one's all silver with a little red logo in there. Thundercats, ho! And what I like about these is, unlike the Super 7, like as seen on TV series, where they pretty much just made the figure again and made them look a bit more like they did in the TV show, these are like a whole completely new sculpt, so different to the old one. So you can see how that is so much more like a He-Man figure than the original LJN. Even though they're fucking awesome, they're nostalgic as fuck, and they're classics, they'll always be classics. That guy, is fucking awesome to play with your He-Man figures. If I had this when I was a little kid, I'd be fucking buzzing out so much, man. He's also got his little claw there. This was actually the sheath that he used to keep his sword in the show. His sword was small, and then he'd hold it to his eyes and do the Thundercats, ho! And his sword would grow, and then he'd put that on his arm like that. And he's battle ready. So there we got the original, and we got the new one there facing off. Ching! Old versus new. What we're saying, what do you like best? Do you like old or do you like new best? Which one do you prefer? Let's check Slythe. Who remembers Slythe? This guy was Slythe because he was a sly motherfucker. He's part of the bad guys. He's part of Mumra's horde. They're not called horde, are they? Mumra's little gang of baddies. So let's open him up. See what he's saying inside. And I've been wanting to do this video for ages. I've had these a while. But I've just been so busy with other Slimehouse shit and work and doing other videos and the sponsored videos and stuff that I've not had a chance to get into these, and I wanted to do it properly and spend time and do it right. Oh, he's fucking awesome. He's got like a sick grass skirt. Oh, he's cool. He's got the tail as well. So not many He-Man characters had tails. A couple of them did. A couple of the Snake Men and stuff like that. So it's cool to see him with his tail. I wonder how it throws him off balance. What's he like for standing up? I bet he's going to be pretty sick for standing up, actually. And then he's got his axe. Oh, he's got some little shook axe compared to the old figure. His axe is small this time round. Check that. That's small. And it might not look small, but I'm going to show you in a minute compared to the old figure. Oh, he's got some little sharp nails as well, man. I don't want to break them off. He's got his little fucking sharp nails. Yo, I'm shook to put his axe in his hand. I don't want to break it. You'd see me throw a fit if I broke it on camera. I actually can't get it in his hand. There we go. One of the things that was bad about those Funko figures is some of them didn't want to hold the weapons. This one doesn't even want to put the weapon in its hand, so I've got to have it all the way back there just for it to not slip out of his hand. So let's compare him to the old Slythe, which is so completely different. The thing with He-Man and the like the classic Masters of the Universe Motu style figures is that they all generally had the same physique and the same sculpt. Thundercats were so different. Each figure was different size, different sculpt, a completely different sculpt. So you've got to give him that, because that was fucking awesome. To not like have to just like make one generic body and repaint it and recast it and do little bits to change them up and that. They made each figure individual, which is fucking awesome. So you can see here, and there's no way you're telling me that new figure is as badass as the old one. No way. Look at that. He's got a proper sick humpback. He's got the whacking action with his arm, which is probably a bit busted now. Oh, there we go. He still whacks. He can still go. He can still swing if he needs to, this guy. But to me, like, that is one of the most iconic 80s figures. You don't get more cool than Slythe. He's fucking bad boy. Look at him with his humpback and his bog eye. So that one's cool, but it's no 80s Slythe. So this one, I mean, you might like that one more if you're watching this. You might think that the new is better than the old, but I think comparing them two, the old one's way better. He looks a lot more fucking monstrous. His axe is twice the size of this little shuck axe, but again, it's not in a He-Man style, but it's fucking awesome. It's just cool to see him in the He-Man style. That's why I like these, because I'm not trying to be like, oh, it's like a remake of the old one. It's not a remake. It's just a He-Man 5.5 style muscle bound action figure that's just like the He-Man style. So he's fucking awesome. I like them. I like them both, but with that, I definitely prefer the old one. 100% prefer the old one. And now the last one, we've got Panthro. Man like Panthro. Panthro always reminded me of like a black skinhead. Like back in the 80s and stuff, the original skinheads were white guys and black guys skinheads, and then you got like different offshoots that were like associated with racism and shit like that. But I was raised around skinheads as a kid. My parents were punks, and I knew black and white skinheads, and he always reminded me of a black skinhead. Fucking cool as fuck, man. And he's got the braces and he's got the shaven head. Sick, man. Panthro's my favourite out of these guys. Panthro's definitely my favourite character out of Thundercats. So let's see what his legs are saying. His legs look a bit shook, like they might fall over. See how he's like on a little like backwards lean? Hopefully we can sort that out. because I'm sure these are banged out in a factory. So, what's his nunchuck saying? I knew they wouldn't have a real chain on them. I knew it'd be like a sculpted chain like that. It still kind of goes, but I'll show you the original in a minute, the original Panthro figure, and I'll show you how different the old ones are. So, the old figure is taller. Look at that. Let's compare the old one to the new one. I prefer the old one. I prefer the old ones or all of these, but that's because I'm an 80s baby and this shit's been a part of my life all my life. So what we got here? So he's still got that band on his arm like that. You see his little bracelet on his arm. He's got the braces kind of thing. And the new one has got a nice face though. The sculpt on the face is fucking cool. But check that. The original has actual nunchucks that you can whack some motherfuckers with, and this guy's got like rubber sculpted nunchucks. So they're obviously not as cool. Which one do you prefer? Which one do you like the most? Check them, old versus new. Definitely the old for me. Definitely the old for me. And again, he's got the whacking action. He can whack a motherfucker in the jaw and smash his nose bone to pieces. I like how he's got big ears though. This one's got like big ears, and his eyes look more cat-like. So they're both cool in their own way. And Panthro is definitely my favourite character from Thundercats. Look at that. You can whack the fucking chain round his neck and drag him around. Reminds me of Cochise from the Warriors when he's got the chain and he fights the guys in the toilet in the Warriors. Yeah, man, like that, over the neck like that, and then throw him over the back. Fucking cool. So it's a shame this one doesn't come with actual chains, but it's still awesome. Like I said, it's just cool to see these in the He-Man style, because as a kid, you used to have your He-Man figures fighting your Thundercats, and the Thundercats were always way bigger and a different style. And like, again, if you dropped your He-Man figure, it'd bounce. You drop this, and it'd fucking chip the paint off it, and they'd usually break, because they're made from this like brittle plastic. So, yeah, man, it's just cool to see. Let's have a full roundup of who we've got. Oh, before we do that, let's compare Mumm-Ra with the old Mumm-Ra figure. So we've got Mumm-Ra here, and he's got a sword that's like a double-edged, like fan spiky blade kind of thing. The original figure has a bald head like that, and then you put this on, which was always annoying because the mask never quite fit on his head. I don't know where they fucked up with that like design, but they just never did it properly. So that sits, you can either sit it on the back of his head, or you can bring it forward to go over like that, like a nose bone guard, like a Spartan, but then it makes the rest of the mask like flare up. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was just a bad design at the time, and because they'd already made it, they were like, do you know what, we're just gonna have to roll with it. If you know, let me know in the comments, because I never understood that. I'm surprised nobody's like 3D printed new ones of these for your old Mumm-Ra figures like that, just because they look sick. But Mumm-Ra would start off like this. He would start off like a mummy, and then he would do this thing where he transforms. Mumm-Ra, the ever living, transform this decaying corpse, and he'd take his robes off and all his fucking bandages and go rah! All over in that sick intro, and then he would turn into this guy, Hench Mumm-Ra. But look at that, compared to the old figure, he just like towers him. So if them two were to fight, this guy, I'm saying, would smash his head off. Unless this guy was like Rey Mysterio, he's going to smash his fucking skull to pieces. But again, really cool, and at least his helmet actually goes on his face the way it should. Because this one looks fucking bumberclawed dumb. Look at that, stupid. So yeah, it's a shame that they never had a headdress that actually fits him properly. But again, so starting from the top, let's have a roundup. We've got Mumm-Ra. Then we've got man like Lion-O, his nemesis. Them two, they're like pure nemesis. Them two are like Godzilla and King Ghidorah, Joker and Batman. Nemesis, pure nemesis. And they're fucking awesome that you can have them two. You can do this guy team up with He-Man, and this guy team up with Skeletor, and we can have that fucking sick He-Man Thundercats crossover that we could never have in the 80s properly because our figures were two different sizes. Then we got this guy, Slife, with his Executioner style axe, and then we got Panthro. Fucking awesome, man. And do you know what I'm saying? For a tenner for two, tenner buy one, get one free. You can't leave them, man. You can't leave them. When I went, the shelves were depleted as well. So it's like, I'm glad that I didn't stop to talk to Podrick and I went and got my Thundercats instead. There is a Wave 2 coming. Apparently, the Wave 2 got cancelled. But then my friend Wayne has told me that he's just gone on Funko.com and he's pre-ordered Wave 2. So hopefully we're going to see Wave 2. Because we got Tigra, we got Chitara, we got Monkey-Man, and we got Jackalman. 4 bad boy figures that we need in this set. If we're gonna do Thundercats, yeah, we gotta do everybody. Don't be just giving me 4 characters. We need the whole fucking line. I'll buy the whole line. Don't get me wrong. You've got me now, Funko. You've got me. The claws are in. The hooks are in. The hooks are in. I'm gonna buy this shit. Just make sure that you make it, please. So I hope you like this like little unboxing review. I go on a bit of a mad tangent sometimes when I review toys, but I'm just so into this shit and I talk about random things and I get a bit excited. So this has been All Figured Out Show and Tell, old versus new. Which did you prefer? Let me know in the comments. I'm Theo Kane. This has been Slimehouse TV and we'll catch you in the next one. But for now, we're gone. Boom.